Okay, so this is going to be my Metal Gear Online 3 trailer feedback video. So I'm going to see if I can give any feedback, and I hope all the XMGO2 players can agree with my points. And I'm going to pause the video now and then just to talk about a few things. New developers, scary. Maps. The maps look huge. I know we've only seen this one, but the map itself looks quite big. It does look like a sort of single player variant where you spawn at one side of the map, you might be able to choose. The stronghold's in the direct middle of the map and you can go in anywhere you like. It's going to be hard for a defender to defend from that, but it kind of sticks in with the Metal Gear Solid 5 theme. Customization, hell yes. One thing we loved about MGO2 was that you could dress how you like. You could dress like an idiot and look stupid, or you could, be efficient and buy a ghillie suit or something like that. It was just one of the best things about the game. The only thing that worries me is that I know it's showing you in-game because it's a trailer, that you actually change your gear in-game before the round starts. It's sort of like a GTA 5 thing. I'm not sort of a fan of that. I prefer just to, do it in the menu where you have a good sort of view of your character and then you can preset those outfits to different maps. Now, that was ideal and that was efficient, so I prefer to do that. I'm not sure about you guys. Yes, I didn't see any women there.
Let's go.
SOP is confirmed. You don't really see it that clearly, but that guy climbing up, you can see the blue through the wall. Yes, I knew they'd bring SOP back. A lot of people were saying, SOP, well, nanomachines weren't even back then, blah 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 blah. Shut up. Also, ghillie suits confirmed, bolt action rifle, sick. E-locator's back as we know it, sick. Okay, so the new porn magazine's a 3D model dog. No one's going to use these. They work the same as the magazine, so obviously you get stunned and you look at them. You look at the puppy with hearts on your head and you can't do anything. The difference between that and the porn magazine in the previous MGO is the magazines were tiny and they were flat as a pancake, so they were really, really hard to see, especially if you place them on, say, a bright background. So having a 3D puppy just sitting there, I don't think they're going to be as good, and I don't see a lot of people using them. Stealth camo in rescue mission. What? The only way this is going to be acceptable is if the skill sets are like MGO2. So you had 4 skill slots to select. So a lot of people would run, say, assault rifle 2 and runner 2. I hope this is something like SOP Stealth Expert, where it takes up like 3 or 4 slots, and you have stealth camo now and then. Obviously, things like e-locators and scanners can't actually get through to you. That would be okay, I guess. So you had no running skills, you would have no sprint, you would have no, control of recoil and guns, and that's the only way that would be fair. Okay, so scanning people through SOP through binoculars. That's just not a great idea. Back in MGO2, what you'd have to do is use CQC and the scanner skill. You'd have to go up to them, grab them, and then you'd have to stick the scanning needle into the neck, and then that would sort of short anyone on the team. This sort of thing of scanning people and see them through the walls, I hope it's sort of like for 1-2 seconds and then it disappears, and that Dorito from their head disappears, because you don't want a rescue mission to be like a conquest game of Battlefield. So many Doritos. Okay, so I don't quite understand this trap. I get it that if he flies away he's sort of dead or gone for, But what is the point of not killing him? So my only scare is that Metal Gear Online is going to work like sort of Peace Walker and Portable Ops, where the single player comes into hand. So by that I mean you'd have to recruit good players in the single player that had good skills, you know, amongst sort of assault rifle skills, running skills, etc. You'd have like an F grade all the way up to an S grade, S being the best, and they'd have obviously the least amount of recall and shooting guns, etc., etc. And I hope that's the way they'll approach this, because you're only going to be good at MGO if you get good soldiers and you play the single player a stupid amount. Not only that, but a sleep gas mine would have probably done the job a bit better. But then again, I guess this gets them out of the map, so I'm not sure where they're going with that one.
Enemy spotted.
What it looks like when the E-locator spotted them, it's actually kept the Dorito on their head ever since he threw that E-lock, which I'm not a huge fan of. I'm not sure if anyone else has any input on that at all. Clearly flashing red and then dives on it. This guy's logic. Noob. Zor. Gakko and Keraton confirmed to not be in this game. I knew this was going to happen, so when they were talking about westernization of the game, everyone thought, oh, it's going to turn into a Call of Duty, blah blah blah. I was hoping they were just going to change the small things. So, you know, I knew they would change the magazines, and I knew they would change the Gakko and Keraton, but I thought that would be about it. So now it's a sort of generic laptop that has Intel on it. You pick it up, you get a blue logo above your head, and then you run to the sort of extraction point, which is, you know, as I expected.
Roger that.
Codex are back. I'm not sure if you're listening, but they say things like thank you, cover me, etc. I'm so happy that they're back, and such a good idea.
Put him down.
Okay, so the biggest controversial thing is this mech suit. Personally, I don't think it's a great idea, mainly because it looks like the defenders get it rather than just a generic one in the middle of the map where anyone can access it. I know your mobility is going to be sort of lacked, but if you get behind a wall and you can just decimate people with this, especially if the game's going to turn into a game where headshots don't really matter for shit anymore, you can just spray their body and they're going to die, which I hope's not the case. But I personally believe that this mech suit would be a bad addition to the game. Fair enough if it's in only 1 or 2 maps, something map related, then fair enough, I see that. But in a rescue mission, I just don't think it's a good idea. And this guy's a dick for not shooting the puppy to save his friend and letting him get decimated by that mech suit. Okay, so there's one thing I'll say about that. Imagine an MGO2 glitcher, aka Dario, or anyone that uses Mao, with that device. We're all screwed. I don't think that device is a good idea at all. It just sort of ruins the game flow. Thinking about it in MGO2, which was set in what, 2014 I think it was. We didn't have no teleportation device then. How come we've got it in the past? Personally, not a huge fan, don't think it's a good idea, but I'd love to hear your feedback. It's cool how the alarm goes off when he grabs the intel. Cardboard box is confirmed. Box popping, however, I doubt it with the new weapon selection. And if you haven't played Ground Zeroes, you won't know, but the weapon selection actually is your D-pad. So I think right is your main weapon, left is your items, etc., etc. So box popping might not exist in this new one, but we'll see. Shields are back, so you're gonna have our shielders back, hopefully. So people like Ryan, Kiwidaki are gonna be back, and smashing people in the face with shields. If you look on these new shields, though, they don't have the gap anymore. They sort of have a sort of cheese grater effect, and what that means is you won't be able to shoot through the hole anymore. And I imagine these shields being degradable, but I'm not 100%. We'll have to wait and see. Mech confirmed to be OP. Then you take a 1 RPG to the mech, you take 0 damage and jump off. Okay. Look at all those grenades he's got. He's got like 3 frags and 3 smokes. I hope they're just sort of cosmetic like the MGO2 grenade belt. Holy crap. Okay, so there's my sort of feedback based on that. We'll talk about a few more things before I go. One being clans. Okay, so in MGO2, when you logged onto your sort of normal account, you had a section for clans, and then when you went in there, you could join, create a clan, or you could just view your own clan that you're in. And what you could do is see who was in it. You could see your stats, so your GP, your KDR with the clan, etc, etc. You could also make an emblem. And when you looked at someone in game, you sort of had their name. Underneath that was their clan name, and then their clan emblem. And that was just a really good way of sort of doing the game in general. It was a really good idea, and I hope you bring it back into the new one. Another thing a lot of people talk about, official modes. So you need to bring back survival and tournament. I'm not just saying that for my own benefit, but the way of the people I play games with, the sort of mentality is changed. So a lot of people who played MGO2 will, I imagine, will agree with me on this. The fact that survival was 3 times a week for 4 hours, every single person, or most of them, would come on at that one time. So now when you have to go to your friend and go, oh, do you want to come on at this time tonight? It changes that whole aspect, because you'd expect everyone to be on at that one time. And it was just great the way it worked, because everyone would turn up and everyone would be there, and the servers would populate by like times 10 of the normal free battle population, during which time you could get reward points you spend on cosmetics for your characters, but you'd also get grade points. Grade points are sort of, if you play Dota 2, your MMR, if you play Counter-Strike, it's sort of your rank. It's the official way of ranking, so you know what separates the boosters or the free battle players from the ranked players to see who's actually, in a better sort of skill set, and that worked so well. Some aspects it didn't work in terms of if you played res against level 4s, you'd get a minus for coming 4th. Like, that didn't work that so well, but obviously with having active developers to chat to it, obviously we can change small things like that. But it works so well. Tournaments, you would have to come on an hour before they start. You'd have to register with a team and then turn up as it started. If you lost the 2 rounds, or you drew 1-1 and you lost on points, you'd get kicked out of that tournament, and that would be it. You'd get a set amount of reward points for how far you got. If you came first or second, you'd get a tournament prize as well as reward points. So if you came runner-up, you'd get, say, a fleece or that fedora thing and a special colour. Now, these special colours can only be unlocked through tournament mode, so that was white, orange, pink and purple. So you'd get, if you came first, you'd get a beret in one of those colours, or an Anshanka, depending on what time of the sort of year it was. Second, obviously, like I said, was a fleece or a fedora. Oh god. And they were so good because you get like heart thumping moments on those things when you played, like, say, Rescue Mission, and you had, like, the semi-finals, and it was like 2v2, the round's about to end. It was just heart thumping moments, and they were really, really, really enjoyable, and another thing that people would join onto the game for. And I believe that's all I wanted to sort of feed back, really. Everything else seems to be spot on. It looks like, MGO and what it's supposed to be. Just, I believe, with having different developers, they are going in a different way. I know that's the way they sort of want to do things, but I just hope it doesn't come to a point where us old MGO2 players come onto it and don't like it, and then what will happen there is we'll probably not play it as much, and then the player base that they want to attract, say the Western people, would come in and see that the game's dead, no one's playing it, and then play it once or twice, maybe like it, but that's about it. But with it being dead, you're not going to play a game where you're going to play with the same players over again, like MGO2, like the year before it went down when no one wanted to play. Just there's my feedback. Take it in. Anyone who's watching this who played MGO2, I want your feedback as well on what I'm saying. I want to know if you agree, if you disagree, or anything on those lines. Okay. Anyway, this has been D. Peace out.